Good morning, everybody. Good morning, fellow capitalists. I like that. That's funny. Good morning, everybody. Very good. So let's see here. Thank you for the audio and visual confirmation, Daily Trader. We appreciate it. Very good. And I would say, without any further ado, we should be able to get, and you too, John, much appreciated. We should be able to get started here this morning. If you're here for the first time, welcome. This is our Set the Market morning call. We're going to spend the next 10 minutes or so, maybe 15, going through some of the top things on our notebook this morning. Please do make sure you subscribe to the channel and you give us a thumbs up like. That allows us to be able to continue to do the show, but more importantly for you, it allows you to be alerted in real time when we go live with analysis and insights. Let's see here. So I think what I'd like to do this morning is I'd like to start with a bit of a reminder of where the quarter to date performance is. I want to talk a little bit about the seasonality stuff that, of course, we continue to reiterate is rather extreme in terms of sentiment this year, which I think is just noteworthy. That's about it. And then I do want to look at a couple of individual stocks. We will look at things like Apple, Apache, Freeport McMoran, and then we'll look at the transports, which we talked about yesterday as well. I also want to today open this up a bit more for questions. I mean, we always address your questions, of course, but if you have anything more than usual, I'd be more than happy to go through that this morning as well. If you look over my right shoulder, I got a new on-air sign for Black Friday. Actually, I got it last week at some point. So that means that we're live. So anyone here in the office that walks in here, they know that I'm not just talking to myself, but that we're on the air. So that's something new and exciting here in the office. Anyway, let's get started. So first of all, I think it's worth spending a few minutes on the performance quarter to date in terms of different asset classes. So what you're looking at your screen out right now is you're looking at the quarter to date performance of basically things like stocks and precious metals and other stuff. And I think to no great surprise, you'll see that things like Bitcoin and Ethereum are down, 20, 30%. But on the complete opposite spectrum, you can see silver, which is up 23% quarter to date. So that means basically since the beginning of October. What's notable, and this is my point, is that you'll continue to see other precious metals, palladium and even copper mining stocks are up 8% in the quarter. Gold miners, copper itself, platinum, which you guys know we like, are up there as well. And stocks are doing fine, right? But they're not having that rip-roaring move, at least not yet, that a lot of people expected in the fourth quarter. So we're now actually a little bit more than 2/3 out of the through the fourth quarter. We have a few weeks left here, obviously, here in December now. And you'll see that the S&P is up a respectable 2%, but that's, what is that, 0.7% a month? That's pretty good, but I think a lot of people have higher expectations. So my point for this is just to understand that if, and this is a big if, we do tend to have a positive December, if this somehow disappoints people, it can actually go the other direction. So I'm trying to keep people a bit more open-minded as to the outcome of what might happen, what could be a possible outcome here for the rest of the month. I'm not expecting a catastrophe. That is not what I'm trying to say. But I do think that the longer we don't rally more meaningfully, and for all I know, it could happen today, but the longer we don't, the more people will give up and close their books, right? But as long as there's the hope of that in the next couple of weeks or so, I would expect people will try to, continuously try to add to risk, all else being equal, of course. So that's a little bit of that. Now, in terms of I'm going to just focus on pure price action today. I think it's a little bit simpler to kind of show what we're seeing. But I believe I showed this yesterday, and I want to just reiterate again. So we're seeing a few important things taking place here today. So this is the transportation, or one of the transportation ETFs. The ticker symbol is XTN, so X Theodore N. And you can see that the transportation stocks as a group, it's an industry group, right, are starting to look pretty darn good. They're starting to break out. Now, it's not all transports. Some of them are not looking nearly as good as others. The ones that are looking really giddy are the airline stocks. And we can look at airline stocks through the lens of like the JETS ETF. That JETS ETF is actually not breaking out yet, but it's right there where it could start to make a move. You can look at individual stocks like Delta Airlines, which on our trend following algorithm, it has flashed us a breakout, even from a momentum perspective. So within the transportation part of the market, we're seeing rotation into airlines. Now, this is one of those interesting moments where personally I see absolutely no reason why these stocks should rally. I don't believe the economy reflects it. So either the market is telling me something that I don't know, which is most likely, or, and the more dangerous part of this would be that people are just getting it all wrong, right? I mean, we know the bottom 50% of the economy, probably the bottom 60+% is not doing well. And so it to me seems very, very lopsided to think that these stocks can rally, but the signals are there, right? So I always want to respect the signal more than my qualitative or quantitative, the qualitative analysis. That's what I've learned over many years. The price action is what it is. Even if it's manipulated, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, we have to follow what the price is doing, right? That's from a, we don't want to fight it too much, I guess is the point, what I'm trying to make. So that's transportation stocks. That's something I think interesting to note. Then we can look at the other part of the market, and this kind of goes into the broadening rally that we've talked about that could happen, but hasn't really happened in in any sort of strong fashion. But that could happen. There's other things acting well. For example, the oil and gas exploration stocks. So the ETF for that, for example, is XOP. And the XOP ETF, you can see, is also acting real well. It looks like it wants to go higher. So within that space, you can look at, for example, stuff like a company called APA Corp, which is, I mentioned it, I think, last week. It's essentially Apache. And you can see that stock, too, is acting very, very well. We've got, I believe, let me quickly double check, actually. I believe we have bullish trend and bullish momentum. So let me have a quick look on that. Yeah, so we have a bullish trend from our trend following algorithm on APA, and we also have bullish momentum. So you can see that's another on our momentum indicator. So we have both of that. Reddish2 is asking, what is the sticker? What is sticker? I don't know what a sticker is. Can you elaborate what you mean by sticker? What you mean ticker, and which one? I don't know which one you talk about. Over the past few minutes, we went through APA. We went through XTN, which is the transportation stocks ETF, and we looked at the IYT ETF, which is also transportation stocks, and we looked at XOP as in Peter, which is the oil and gas exploration stocks. Okay, so those are the ones that we looked at. I'm assuming you meant ticker, not sticker. Just guessing. While we wait for some other questions to come in here, I do want to quickly mention to everybody our educational series this week. We're right back with it here now post-Thanksgiving. And what we're going to be doing today actually happens today at 11 o'clock. You can see today is Tuesday, December 2nd. We're going to be walking you through our process of finding extremely overbought and oversold stocks, right? So that's what we're going to be teaching you here in this week's educational series. You can sign up for that free webinar right there in the link in your in the chat box. So That's what's taking place today. So if you're wondering what that is, well, it's like, for example, this. So you can see every single day stocks get either extremely overbought or oversold. So for example, this here is Tesla. You can see, for example, Tesla got extremely overbought and then dropped, like 7%. This is just an intraday chart. Then the stock got really oversold and then it rallied like 3%. And then it got very overbought and basically stagnated or maybe down, 1% or so. So these are extremities of that the markets reach, whether it's intraday or on the daily charts or even on the longer term charts. And that's typically where there's a lot of opportunity to basically take the other side of momentum, because momentum gets exhausted. So you can see Tesla's upside momentum got exhausted, then it dropped. Tesla's momentum to the downside got exhausted, then it rallied. And same thing here, you got overbought and then it went down. So that's what we're going to go through here this week. And I'm looking forward to having you guys all there. Last but not least, I do want to quickly look at Apple with you guys. We did talk about Apple in here, so I want to reiterate it. Most important thing about Apple to understand is that it remains in a bullish. Let me quickly bring it up here. Apple is in a bullish trend. So we use our trend following algorithm for this. So you can see Apple here in a bullish trend. So that's the green background color. And we received a new trend following buy signal on the 25th of November. That, of course, was last week. We're now really, really close to reaching profit target number 1, which we have at $285. And then we have a second profit target around $290. So the trade is working in the direction that we thought it would go, or at least our algorithm did. And so that's what we're looking at. John wants to look at Bitcoin. So the thing with Bitcoin is not so much about opinions. It's rather like, what is it actually telling us right now? So let me show you a couple things that are taking place. So if we look at our trend following model, right, you will notice that Bitcoin used to be in a bullish trend. So you can see the green background color. So this is our trend following model. This is the multi-month, multi-quarter time frame. So you can see we had a bullish trend, right, the green background color, and it got us out of that bullish trend around the 6th of November. And then it ended up dropping like another 20%. And now it's actually in a bearish trend. Okay. Now that's trend. That's not the momentum. So where it goes from here, I don't know. What I'll tell you is it's no longer a bullish trend. Can that trend change? Absolutely. But right now it's not on a bullish trend. So I don't want to buy it from an investment perspective. Whether there's a trade to do, that's the next question. So for from a trading perspective, I'm going to quickly show it to you here. We have Bitcoin and continue to have Bitcoin in what's called bearish momentum, right? So this is our momentum algorithm. Sorry, I'm bringing it over. So this here is our momentum algorithm. This is the trend or momentum indicator. And what you can see here is that we received, from a trading perspective, we received a momentum sell signal on the 13th of October. And of course, the stock is now down about 21% since then. So that would have been an opportunity from a trading perspective to buy some puts on IBIT or short the futures or whatever, or just even get out of it. But this is the near-term stuff here. The longer-term stuff that's more concerning is that the longer-term trend has now changed. So it's not just the momentum that's bearish. That was a trade, and we nailed that one from a signal perspective. We now also have a trend change, right? The favorite talking heads on TV are not going to tell you this because they have products to push. I'm telling you very unemotionally what the trend and the momentum is here in the near term. So is that helpful, John, and anyone else? Does that kind of clarify how we're looking at this? And at some point, the trend might change back to bullish. Great, and then we'll take action. But before the trend changes, I will guarantee you there will be a new trade, a new momentum trade to the upside. We don't have it yet, but it can happen really, really fast, right? So that's the thing about these more volatile assets. And I think a lot of people that are using leverage on these things have had a bit of a wake-up call over the past couple of months or so that using leverage upon leverage is typically a way to blow up an account. So anyway, folks, I appreciate it. If you guys have any more questions, please let us know. We're going to be back here tomorrow morning with our Set the Market morning call. Please, as always, give us a thumbs up, like. Please subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And we are going to be moving over now to our Market Rover member session. If you are a Market Rover member, our trend following algorithm, we're probably going to start off actually with this Bitcoin analysis, and then we'll have a whole bunch of other things we want to go through. So we'll see all of you Market Rover members over there. You've got the link, and everyone else either in trade ops or later on this morning when we talk about extremely overbought and oversold readings in the market. So thanks for everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this. And we'll see you guys again real soon. And the Set the Market, of course, continues tomorrow morning right here.